Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's virtual college fair for CalSOAP. We're so excited to have you here tonight, and we have a great lineup of presenters ready to speak with you all about their wonderful institutions. So we are going to dive right in shortly, but I wanted to give you an overview of the fair format. Just a reminder for those who haven't been here or haven't been here in a while. This is a 6x6 format fair, which means we've got 6 schools. We actually have 5 here tonight who are going to present for 6 minutes each. Just a reminder, this is a quick time frame. They're going to share some great relevant information with you, but it's really just the tip of the iceberg. So I invite you to continue to reach out to these reps, to research the schools online, to hit the schools' websites, and to register for virtual or physical events if you're able to get more information. So bottom line, continue the exploration long after these info sessions, especially for the schools that really strike your interest. So we'll dive in shortly, but please know you can use the Q&A button at the bottom of your Zoom screen to drop any questions that you might have in that tool. And then our reps will be able to answer you privately once they get your question. You might also see some information come through in the chat. They might drop their contact information or a school website. I recommend that you click it and bookmark it or save it in some way so that you can go back to that information later after the call. So these calls are being recorded. These sessions are being recorded, and they're available for you on the StriveScan website. So you'll go to strivescan.com/CalSOAP for this recording, and that'll be available in the coming weeks. You can keep checking to get the recording. And then finally, don't forget to register for more sessions. There are always many different college presentations that are coming up, and we invite you to keep coming back and checking them out for more. So without further ado, we're going to go over to Zenaida from Scripps College to kick us off.
Thanks, Danielle. So hi, everyone. My name is Zenaida Reyes. I'm the Assistant Director of Admission at Scripps College, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. So a little bit about Scripps. We're a small liberal arts college. We're also really known as being part of the Claremont Colleges, which is a buy one, get 4 free situation, but I'll dive a little bit more into that in the next slide. So Scripps is located in a small town named Claremont, which is known as the city of trees and PhDs. So very much an academic setting where you might run into the faculty, the staff, the presidents, all of those good things, but also still have access to Los Angeles. It's about a 50-minute train ride. So if you've ever been in Southern California, well, yes, then the traffic here in LA is like particularly horrible. So if you want to be able to kind of still explore but not have to deal with the daily LA traffic, which some people love, that's great. But for some of our students, they like to have the balance of both, and that's exactly what our students have. And they'll be able to, again, to go to LA, different parts of Southern California, Joshua Tree, Mount Baldy for nature, all of those great things. A little bit more about our location in terms of the Claremont Colleges. So again, we're part of this consortium where it's a buy one, get 4 free situation, where our students are able to have a small liberal arts college experience, but the resources of a larger institution. So our students at Scripps can take classes at the other schools. We share dining halls, we share clubs. So the campus is however big or small you would like to make it. We each have our own identities and being our own schools and different colleges. We still have different departments, different graduation requirements, but again, it's being able to have the access to larger resources. A little bit more specifically about Scripps. So we are a small liberal arts college. We are a women's college, but don't let that scare you. If you're that person who's like, ugh, no, I would never do that, join the club. The majority of our Scripps students are definitely thinking that as well. We're definitely thinking that during the college application process. And I'll dive a little bit more into that. Our most popular majors really do range. We're not really known for one specific field. Being a liberal arts college, it's really a range of academic subjects. And being a small liberal arts college really does allow our students to do research as undergraduate students because we don't have any graduate students on our campus. It really can be as easy as asking for research opportunities. Our average class size is 16 students, and our student to faculty ratio is 10:1. So even though our students have access to over 2,000 classes each semester in the consortium, they still have these small liberal arts college experience, so they really do get to know their faculty members. More specifically about our academics, what I'll share really is that I think when you're thinking about the Claremont Colleges specifically, one of the things that makes it stand out, other than being a women's college, is our core curriculum, which can be a little confusing because we all use very similar language. But how it works for us at Scripps is the core curriculum is basically our 3-semester sequence program that only Scripps students can take. So no other students in the consortium will be taking these courses. And in this course, basically, the sequence is, let's look at all these different academic subjects. So right now, they're looking at the theme of truth through different academic lenses. What is the truth? Are we learning the truth? How do we see truth in chemistry, politics, dance? The next semester is more of a more focused interdisciplinary subject. So one of our most popular classes is called Misrepresentation of Women in Society and Science. And the next course is more of you going out to the community, actively applying to your knowledge. Our school was founded in a time where women weren't exactly present in the workforce. So yes, it was great and dandy that women were going to college in the 1920s, but it wasn't enough. Our campus wanted our students to have a very well-rounded education. So regardless of the field that they pursued, they could talk about a range of academic subjects. What I'll also just highlight on this slide too is that all of our Scripps students are required to write a senior thesis. So they all will basically conduct research by the time that they graduate from Scripps. So if you are thinking about pursuing research or wanting to just dive deeper into a field, whether you want to prep for graduate school or beyond that, or just have a writing example, it's a great opportunity for our students to be doing that. And they tend to be seminar style and discussion-based classes. Our campus really, again, is however big or small as you want to make it. So at Scripps, there are about 30 Scripps-specific clubs and identity-based organizations. We also have clubs in the consortium, where as unique as you expect them to be. Our students had a cheese eating club where all they do would go buy cheese and they eat the cheese. That was their club. You're there on college to explore and have fun. So yes, you're there to get your degree and make money and all of these things, but you're also there to, again, have fun. And that's the benefit of a residential campus. You're definitely going to be engaged in the community. And for our study abroad, about 60% of our students study abroad. We have about 47 countries and 120 different programs. Financial aid does transfer over, so no worry about that. And then I'll talk a little bit more specifically about the women's college experience. Like I said, not a lot of our students expected to come to a women's college, but really it is just a place where our students feel like they don't have to fall into gendered stereotypes. So you're not too ambitious, you're not too loud, or you should smile more, or you shouldn't be in this field because it's a male-dominated field. That's not really how it works for set Scripps. You just don't smile, that's okay. You're kind of coming into your own as our students being unapologetic in who they are as a person and being able to be in the Claremont colleges. It allows them to have the resources of a women's college, like salary negotiation, because unfortunately we live in a society where there is a gender wage gap still, but still have a co-ed experience. So having that balance of the support of a women's college, but also being able to interact with students of different genders across the Claremont colleges. These are a little bit about us in terms of admission and financial aid, but we are SAT and ACT optional. It wasn't just last year, it's moving completely forward. We do offer early decision 1, early decision 2, and regular decision, and Scripps does meet 100% of demonstrated need, and as well as we offer merit scholarships that range from $15,000 to $27,000 and are renewable for the 4 years that you were at Scripps. So that's a little bit about Scripps. I hope that I covered a lot, but if you all have any other questions, please feel free to reach out in the Q&A. I'll also drop my information, but I hope again this is helpful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Zenaida. That was really very helpful to have an overview. So thank you. We'll turn it over to Janet from Syracuse University now.
Hi, my name is Janet Recchia, and I'm with admissions of Syracuse University. And my hope today is that you'll learn about the university, but also about what it is to be orange, because around Syracuse University, orange is a pretty big deal. It's not just a color we adopted, but it's actually part of our lifestyle, our community. So, I'm sorry, since you're not able to visit the university, I wanted to start giving you a sense of our place. We are a private, mid-sized, interdisciplinary university, and we are located in the heart of New York, in the Finger Lakes District. We are on top of a hill overlooking the city of Syracuse. And the city of Syracuse is a mid-sized city, and it provides many opportunities and internships for our students that are within walking distance. And they can also enjoy the restaurants, the museums, and also the beauty that's around Syracuse, because we're near the Adirondack Mountains. We do have the Finger Lakes. We have beautiful ski slopes. And of course, there's great apple orchards there as well. So here at the university, what we do is we round out your learning and customize your academic experience. And how do we do that? With 200 academic majors and 100 minors that are across the 10 schools and colleges. So courses in a lot of disciplines are all possible. For example, if you're an architecture student and you would like to maybe own your own real estate agency someday, you could minor in real estate. The same thing for a fashion design major, could minor in entrepreneurship. And because of this vast array of offerings, it's a great choice for students that are still exploring. That's for students who know exactly what they want to do and go into one major, or maybe students that want to go into 2 majors, because here at the university, it's commonplace for a student to have 2 majors, a minor, or even 3. So this is our top 25 rankings that you see on the right-hand side. That includes public affairs, drama, and it's all housed in the 10 schools and colleges at the university. So at the university, we are Tier 1 research university. So what that means, we're classified in the top doctoral universities. And research is available in every one of the colleges and is as early as your freshman year. And students have recently discovered gravitational waves. We made the news about 2 years ago, patterns of stroke victims, immigration policy, diabetes treatment, and so much more. There is a fund called The Source. That is where our students get the research grants from. It's up to $5,000. That includes everything, so supplies, materials, and they can actually bring their ideas to reality in the Blackstone Launchpad. So research is done everywhere. In addition to the university, 50% of our students plus go abroad because we own and operate 5 centers abroad. We have London, Florence, Madrid, Strasbourg, France, and Santiago, Chile. We've had them for over 75 years, but we also partner with 60 countries as well. For semesters and short terms are all available. It's a very old program and very respected. And even our freshmen that are in the arts and sciences and the engineering program, which is very unusual, can go abroad and study and add that to another year so they really get a full global experience. In addition to all the centers abroad, we have 3 domestic centers across the United States. I actually work in the Los Angeles Center, Washington, D.C., and New York City. They're all connected to every one of the majors. They all offer internships and experiential work. So being Orange, like I said, is a really big deal around here. We're an inclusive residential community. We do represent 50 states and 170 countries. They all call SU home. There's lots of student clubs and activities. We are D1, so that's a pretty big deal. There's involvement fairs every year. Our alumni are amazing. They're always reaching out to our students. We have amazing career advisors in every colleges. We do have a state-of-the-art health and wellness center here. It's called the Barnes Center at the Arch. It's for the students' complete health and wellness with recreation services. And then the new renovated Shine Center, gathering, meeting, and eating place, and also expanded locations for all of our cultural centers, like the Multicultural Center, the LGBTQ Center, and the Intercultural Collective. So when you join the Orange family, we are a common application school. There's 2 decisions. The early decision, if you really want to make SU your top choice, that's the good one to go for. And you will get your decision before January, as well as first consideration for everything. But regular decision is January 1st. And we are and always have been holistic selection. So when you're selecting your major, you will select the college at the university and you will be looked at specifically for that college and major. We are test optional going forward for 2022. We do offer personal interviews and merit scholarships as far as financial aid. $282 million was given out last year to our students in financial aid and merit scholarships. And to apply, you use the FAFSA or the CSS profile. So we'd like to say that Syracuse is the best of both worlds. You'll live on a residential campus right next door to the city of Syracuse and enjoy all the activities, museums, and cultural events. But most of all, just sharing that Orange pride with your fellow students. I'll be dropping the rest of my information in the chat. And thanks for listening today.
Thank you very, very much, Janet, for sharing such great information tonight. All right, now we're going to head down south over to Florida Southern College, and we'll turn it over to Shannon.
All right, so that's me. Hi, everybody. My name is Shannon Barnes, and I'm one of the admissions counselors at Florida Southern College. So to give you a little bit of information about FSC, we're located right smack dab in the center of Florida in a town called Lakeland, which is about 110,000 people. It's about an hour to both Tampa and Orlando. So you're within driving distance of about 8 million people, but definitely also in a good balanced sized town. Florida Southern also, I think, strikes a nice balance in that we're a small school that isn't super tiny. So there's about 3,000 students, about 500 of those are in graduate programs. So we are primarily undergraduate institution. And one of our other big claims to fame is that Florida Southern is a National Historic Landmark for our collection of Frank Lloyd Wright architecture. So the campus was really designed by one of the great American architects, and there's some pretty cool architecture tours you can take of campus as well. But you're coming to campus to learn, so let's talk academics. FSC officially spans 5 schools, but we kind of consider ourselves a liberal arts core college. And what that means is that although we do have programs that you're going to start off with your major right away, things like a direct entry nursing program, starting off in business classes early on, you really do get a well-rounded education here, so you can mix majors across all of these different options, very common to come in undecided. So it's very flexible. Some of our big majors would be things like business, the life sciences and pre-med, nursing, education, the fine arts for things like our Bachelor of Fine Arts and Theater. But we also have a bunch of really cool, more niche majors for things like citrus. So there's a ton of really cool options. And if you have any questions about the academic programs, definitely let me know. But really, regardless of what you're studying at Florida Southern, we really emphasize that research component, getting to dive into what you're doing and be engaged in your classes. So it's very common for our students to go to conferences, to present and publish. And we really want to foster that chance to own your own academic work and take that into your future career, into future grad school opportunities. There we go. So one of the other big things that Florida Southern really emphasizes is the chance to do learning outside of the classroom. So there's a couple of things that we want to make sure are accessible to students kind of across the board at FSC. The first big one is that we guarantee study abroad. That's built into the cost of your tuition, and there's typically somewhere between 30 and 50 trips offered a year. So those can be something that's tied to your major, like the shark trip that goes to Bimini to work in a shark nursery, but it can also be something that you've just always really wanted to, say, travel to Taiwan. So you join an international business trip to Taiwan, and that's super accessible for students. The next one is internships. We also want to get you started on that whole you need experience to get experience cycle early on. So we do guarantee internship opportunities. And then the last one is that we guarantee that you'll graduate on time, because a 4-year degree in general should take you 4 years. So we want to make sure that you're getting all of your classwork done and are ready to kind of move on to the next phase in whatever your life plan is. So what that means is that we really see our students continue on to a really wide variety of things, graduate school, medical school, going into the workforce, but statistically have really good outcomes for our students. We are a residential campus. You'll see down there in the bottom left corner, we're located on Lake Hollingsworth, right across the street from a super pretty lake that has a jogging path around it. So definitely see our students spend a lot of time out there, whether it's grabbing a hammock or renting a kayak or watching the water ski team. And we do guarantee residence for all 4 years, so you've got housing covered. Sports-wise, we are an NCAA Division II school, so if you're interested in being recruited for any of the D2 sports, talk with the coaches. Same thing goes if you're interested in any of those club sports that are listed on there. And we also have a pretty robust intramural sports program if you just want to stay active and engaged, but not necessarily dive into competitive inter-school sports as well. So campus life-wise, like I said, we're a really close-knit community. I think there's something on this campus for just about everyone. So if you are interested in getting involved with one of the different clubs and organizations, if you're really passionate about a particular volunteer service project, if you want to join Greek life, there's space for all of that here. And we want to kind of help you work through that. So let's talk kind of applying to FSC. We're on the Common App, we're on the Coalition app, we're test optional and a free application. Our application will open a little bit later this month coming up. I guess it's not May yet. So a couple of weeks coming up for the application to open. And then you have all the way through until March 1st to apply. So you can kind of pick from a variety of deadlines there. Scholarship-wise, we will automatically evaluate you for merit scholarships when you apply using the information that's in your application. And then have you submit the FAFSA if you're eligible for that to be evaluated for additional aid. I work with students as their first year financial aid counselor. So if you do have any questions about financial aid, shoot me a text or an email and we'll set up a time to talk. We are open for tours, so if you have any questions, you can hop onto the website or come book a visit, and I would love to see you on campus. And I will go ahead and leave my contact information here as well as in the chat, so if you need to get a hold of me, you can find me.
Thank you very much, Shannon. Appreciate you being here and sharing that great information tonight as well. All right, from Florida, we're headed up to Boston, and I'll turn it over to Emily from Emmanuel College.
All right, thanks, Danielle. All right, come on. There we go. All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. My name's Emily Heaney. I'm one of the Senior Assistant Directors of Admissions here at Emmanuel College. I'm also a double alum of Emmanuel College, so I received my bachelor's and master's from Emmanuel. So definitely know what it's like to be a student here. So feel free to ask me questions about that. To give you a brief overview of what Emmanuel is all about, we are a liberal arts college located in Boston, Massachusetts. Specifically, we are down the street from Fenway Park, where the Boston Red Sox baseball team plays, and we're also in the Longwood Medical District of Boston. So we have some great hospitals right down the street from us: Boston Children's Hospital, Brigham and Women's, Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, and many, many more. So that opens a lot of doors for a lot of our students. So Emmanuel, as I said, we are liberal arts, so we are broken into 5 different schools, which you'll see on my screen. The only school that you have to apply directly into is our nursing program. Otherwise, you have until March of your sophomore year to officially declare your major, so you have some time to figure out what you might want to study. We have about 70 areas of study, ranging from psychology to biology to our religious studies to philosophy. So we really have a ton of different opportunities for students. And regardless of your major, you're going to be doing a liberal arts education. So you may be majoring in biochemistry, but you'll still be required to take an English, a math, philosophy, sociology, psychology, things like that. So we really want you to get that well-rounded education while you're here. We are about 1,900 undergraduate students, so our class sizes cap at about 30. No major lecture halls. You're not in a lecture hall of 400, 500 students at a time. So you're really able to get to know your peers and your professors and things like that. One of our major programs that we always like to mention is our internship program. So 100% of our students complete an internship right here in Boston. So our students are really everywhere in the city, and it's really used as their classroom. Boston is a place for students to obviously have fun, but also intern at places like Fenway Park, the different hospitals, or the State House, or WGBH, which is a local television station. So again, a wide range of different internships that our students complete. Other experiential learning opportunities consist of research and study abroad. Again, we have research opportunities in all disciplines, whether it is studying the ink in tattoos or it is studying economics and immigration policy. So regardless of your major and area of study, there is research opportunities for you. And finally, we have study abroad. So we have about 500 programs in 70 different countries. That number is so large because we have what's called a consortium called the Colleges of the Fenway. So students have the ability to take courses at 5 different schools when they're at Emmanuel: Syracuse University, Wentworth Institute of Technology, Massachusetts College of Art and Design, and Massachusetts College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences, and obviously Emmanuel. So students at any of those colleges are able to take classes at any of those colleges. So you can go over to Simmons and take a math class, you can go to Mass Art and take an art course, and those are all within walking distance of each other. So not only can you study abroad with the other colleges in different countries, but also you can go over and join their club, softball team, or wiffle ball team. So it's really nice that students have that bigger community after having kind of a smaller community here at Emmanuel College. So there's definitely a ton to do both on and off campus. If you are looking for an urban setting, as I mentioned, this is the place for you. But also, we have about 100 clubs and organizations on our campus, including 16 Division III sports. So you are more than welcome to compete at that division level, but you can also go into intramural and club sports as well. We have different clubs and organizations stemming from academic clubs. So I think almost every major has some sort of extracurricular club, whether it's biology club, business club, or psychology club. We have music clubs, art clubs, a dance team. We have cultural clubs like Black Student Union, and then we have other student clubs like for our LGBTQ plus students, as well as Asian Student Union, Huayas, etc. So a ton of different options for our students. I always say if you're bored at Emmanuel, you're definitely doing something wrong, because there's always something happening both on campus and off campus in the city of Boston. So just to kind of go over to apply, so we are on the Common App and it is free to apply, so no fee there. We are looking for an essay, as well as your transcripts from all of your high schools, 2 letters of recommendations, so one from a counselor, the other from an academic teacher. And then finally, we are a test optional institution. We've been test optional for about 6 or 7 years at this point, but obviously we weren't optional due to COVID. The major that we do require test scores though is nursing. We are looking for test scores when it does come to the nursing program. We're looking for about a 550 on the math section, and I'm happy to answer any specific questions about the nursing program and extra application process for that. So that wraps it up for me. My contact information is down below. If you happen to be in the Boston area, we would love to have you on campus. We are having in-person on-campus tours Monday through Friday, every hour on the hour, and definitely feel free to check us out on our social media pages. You'll definitely get a lot of information on there. But for now, thanks so much for having me, and have a great rest of your night.
Thank you very much, Emily. All right, and last but certainly not least, we've got Andrea from CSU Maritime Academy, who will present and share some information with you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andrea Sendejas. I am the Southern California Enrollment Counselor for Cal Maritime. So we are California State University. We're one of the 23 in the CSU system, and we're the smallest. We are the smallest Cal State. We have about 1,000 students on average every year. Our student to faculty ratio is between 14 to 15 to 1. So you really get that one-on-one with your professors. We have a wonderful training ship called the Golden Bear. And the most important thing to know about us is that we're the best dressed Cal State in the system. So we're the only California State University where you wear uniforms, but the uniform is part of the tradition of being a maritime academy. There's only 6 maritime academies in the US, and we're the only one on the West Coast, the best coast. I'm biased, of course. But what we try and do is to merge the hands-on experience with the classroom and helping you divide that time that you need to learn your subject, practice it, and then master it, whether it's in the professional field or on board our ship. So we offer 7 different programs: international business, global studies and maritime affairs, oceanography, facilities and marine engineering technology, and as well as mechanical engineering with marine transportation. I'm going to spend the most time on this slide. There's a lot of majors on here that you probably never heard of. So engineering technology is systems engineering. So whether it's learning the HVAC, electrical, water systems of a large venue, or working for something like Disneyland or Marriott Hotel, it's chief engineering, it's systems engineering. You're learning to make sure that if something breaks, you can fix it. And that's on the facility side. Whereas for on ships, it's marine engineering technology. Ships are floating cities. You're learning electrical, water, making sure everything is running well for ships. Along with marine transportation and our mechanical engineering program, you can get a licensing from the U.S. Coast Guard in order to be a professional onboard ships in the maritime industry. But we are not a military school. There's no military requirement to any of our programs. The uniforms are purely from the tradition of being a maritime academy, and the licensing comes from the Coast Guard. So just like you need a license to drive a car, you need a license to navigate a ship. And so for marine transportation, you're getting a degree in marine transportation, and you're getting your licensing so that you can go off and sail in any type of water, from rivers to large oceans, from small tugboats to big container ships. And the way I tell students is Beyonce's not driving around her own yacht, right? So it takes professionals to do that. So it can really be a big range of different types of work environments for students. On our campus, we also do what's called the shoreside majors. So our international business is focused on logistics, management. If you heard about the Suez Canal, that's pretty much all international logistics. That's something you're going to be learning about on our campus. Our global studies is our most policy-based program. So if you're interested in international politics, local policies, environmental policies, that's going to be a good springboard for you. And oceanography is our most science-based program. So what's interesting about oceanography is that you're going to be looking at the overall health and wealth of the ocean. You're going to be learning about data gathering. You're going to be able to collect your own data, run your own research. And we're located 30 minutes north of Berkeley, 1 hour from San Francisco, right on the bay. So you have access to small ships and small tugboats that you can take on and create your own data, run your own thesis. So it's more hands-on. But the most kind of unique thing about oceanography that a lot of people get mixed up is with marine biology. So oceanography is to marine biology what geography is to biology. You will be taking classes on the different animals and different organisms that live in the ocean, but you're not going to so much be working with those specific animals. So that's just a heads up. So the uniform is part of being a cadet. All of our students are cadets on campus, but we are, again, not a military school. We're not breaking you down and build you back up. There's no push-ups or sit-ups. There's no saluting. It's a professional uniform. Everyone looks great in khakis, and it really does a good job of kind of bringing everyone together and unified. You're part of a team, and everyone wears these team colors, right? So what's really interesting is that a lot of students who go on into the maritime industry, they have to learn about the structure of chain of command. They have to learn about the structure of team building. And that's what we're trying to do for our students. We're trying to give you that the minute you step onto our campus. And, you know, washing and ironing your clothes has never been easier. You already know what you're going to be wearing every day. The other parts of our leadership on our campus are our student government, as well as our resident housing officers. And we always tell students to take a look at our different RHOs or RAs positions when you're ready to apply to different campuses, because no matter where you apply, if you're going to live on campus, it's going to be the biggest part of your tuition bill. So we want to make sure that we're giving you different options for RHOs. You do get a stipend if you're chosen to be a leader on our campus. We have over 30 different clubs on campus. We're NAIA Division II, and you'll see the list of sports there, as well as club sports. There's kind of a water theme that happens to a lot of our activities, sailing, as well as crew, swimming, and water polo. We also have our most popular club on campus is the Road Trip Club, where students just kind of get in a car together and plan their different trips throughout the Bay Area or out of California. It's a big outdoorsy area for our students. We are kind of in a suburb, but you have the opportunity to get a BART ride down to the UC Berkeley area, to get a ferry ride into San Francisco. So it can fulfill those needs for you if that's something that you're looking for in a university. All of our students travel internationally. As part of the business, global studies, or oceanography program, you travel during your sophomore summer for 2 weeks, and it's 50% educational, 50% touristy fun things. So while you get to visit Morocco and talk about the environmental policy or trade policy for those areas, you can also go camelback riding on the beach. Same goes for China, Vietnam, Greece, Portugal. If you are doing engineering on our campus, you actually travel on board our ship along with marine transportation for 3 months. So it doesn't get more hands-on than that. Everything that you've learned your first year, you're going to put into practice the second that you get onto our campus.
Sounds like some awesome information, Andrea, here tonight, and I appreciate you sharing on behalf of your institution. I invite you to drop the chat, and in the chat, your contact information, as well as some great URLs. And sorry to cut you off. I know it's such a tough timing for all of our schools tonight. So for our students, don't worry, lots more great information for all of our schools on their websites. Like we said, we encourage you to visit, as well as to visit virtually if physically and in person is not an option at this time. To keep us on track here tonight, I got a couple of questions for you all. And I'm hoping that our presenters can come back on screen so that we can see everybody again. And we'll do round robin in the same order that we were just presenting in, to be able to answer the couple of questions that I have for you tonight. And so when the person who presented before you is all set, we can just go in domino fashion to make sure that everybody can have a chance to respond. So to kick it off, I'd love it if you can share, you can probably see on the screen here, this question: what advice would you give to someone going through the college search process? It would be great if you all can weigh in on that. So we'll start with Zenaida.
Yeah, so I think my advice for students is to, when you're applying to schools, don't just apply to schools because people are telling you to. Make sure you open your mind, look at different schools. You might be surprised at what you're going to find, not just being a women's college, maybe it's going out of state or going out of the country, or there's just so many options out there. You might be surprised that you won't just find the one. You might find multiple the ones. So don't limit yourself. Try new things. And when you're applying to colleges, make sure you're applying to schools you'd be happy to get into, not just ones you're applying to just check off a box. I think that's what the advice I'd offer.
And I'll piggyback on that comment as well. I think you need to really stretch yourself and look outside of your comfort zone a little bit. And the college that your friend is going to might not be the exact fit for you. So you might make a list of the things that you want in a college and really start accessing those virtual tours. There's so many virtual opportunities available, and always reach out to the admissions counselor, because they're the ones that have the best answers to your questions and they want to get to know you.
I think I'm going to go for a little bit more practical advice. Make yourself a college email and use that for all of your college related stuff and check it frequently. That's one of the places that you're going to have a ton of information coming through. And I think it's a lot easier if you can kind of compartmentalize it so you're not getting like notifications on your phone, and you can just set yourself to like check it once a day.
I would say once the search process starts to come to a slowdown and you're working on your essay, proofread. I cannot stress that enough. Have 3 people read it, have an English teacher read it, have a guidance counselor read it. It's definitely important. And I mean, even us as professionals, we all have people, rereading our emails and our papers and our communications going out. So we all have proofreaders. So that's my big suggestion.
I would say definitely make sure that you have a copy of your unofficial transcript with you as you're applying, and make sure that you take a look at your official legal name, whether it's on your birth certificate or your social security number card. We have a lot of students who maybe type in their number too fast, and that's one of those things that isn't always easy to fix, no matter where you apply. So take your time, make sure you take a look at that number if you're not familiar with it, and make sure you know your legal name so that we can connect your test scores with your application.
Great advice, everybody, from the approach to the really tactical. So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. And I know you're sharing because you've seen it all, right? So let's pivot a little bit and go to something a little bit more related to campus life for these students. So we'll take it back to the top with Zenaida. If you can share something that's a favorite event or tradition that's unique to your campus, and then we'll go back in the same order here to answer.
Yeah, so at Scripps, there's so many traditions, but my favorite tradition is it's our graffiti wall. So every graduating class will come together, they will decide what their image will be, and they'll all sign their names. And it just has been like that since we were first founded in the 1920s. So to see that history, but I think also to see what our students really value is really on those walls. And my favorite thing about a Scripps student is that they're critical, even if it's about Scripps or the United States or the world, and it's on there, and you see that history there. So I would say that's my favorite tradition, and the students are leaving their mark. So even after they graduate as alums, they have something to look back at and seeing that continue to grow.
And well, we have a history of being orange, so that's part of our pride. And it's really all over campus. And part of the tradition at the university is to wear the orange and to wear it proudly. And it's really apparent on game day. So big tradition on game day is to wear the orange and really go with it. There is also a really nice tradition too on campus, since we are in a snow belt. We are in the Lake District. We do get quite a bit of snow, and there's a great sledding hill on campus, and you must sled down that hill before you graduate. So that is another one of the big traditions.
I think for me, I mentioned that we're a National Historic Landmark for the Frank Lloyd Wright structures on our campus, and one of those is actually a Frank Lloyd Wright designed fountain called the Water Dome. When the jets are on, it's as tall as our library. Normally there's a $5,000 fine if you go in it, but one day a year they lift that so that all of the seniors can have a pool party. And they call it Senior Splash to send everybody off, and it's really cool and really fun.
That's awesome. So for Emmanuel, we do what's called the EC Dance Marathon, and it's when we raise money for Boston Children's Hospital, and other colleges in New England do participate in that. But what we like to do to help raise money for that, the big event is marathon, but we will do EC Dancing with the Stars. And so students will pick faculty and staff members to be the stars, and they'll do like a big dance competition at the end. I haven't been asked yet, and I'm totally fine with that, but we'll see.
I think for us, more recently, students have been de-stressing by our fire pits here at the end of our marina. So you have the opportunity to barbecue, to hang out, to kind of de-stress from the week that you've had. And you get these wonderful views of the Coquinas Bridge and onto the Bay Area.
Love this question because I always find out new things about schools, even if I'm familiar. It's cool to hear. And that also goes to this next and final question, which will go quickly, is can you give us a fun fact about your school or a lesser known fact, something you don't think our audience would have heard before? So we'll start right back at the top.
That I think in the past few years, Scripps has actually been starting to be filmed at more often. So that movie Bird Box came out with Sandra Bullock. They filmed the ending at Scripps. The World War Z, it's actually a book. It was through a Pitzer alum, but the haven in World War Z is at Scripps. So Scripps is kind of known as the haven I've seen as zombie apocalypse. And it's also been recently in a movie with like Bill Nye or something like that. I haven't watched it, but it's become more of a location.
So I think a fun one is that our original colors were pink and green. So, and then we adopted the orange, which is definitely our favorite color. And the other one is our President of the United States is one of our proud alums. He graduated from our law school, Joseph Biden.
I think for me, it's the fact that Florida Southern has the only four-year citrus major in the country. Obviously, Florida is a huge citrus industry, like behemoth. And so we actually have an orange grove on campus.
I would say that, so our president is Sister Janet Eisner. She is going on her 43rd year of being president, and she's actually the longest standing female president of a college or university in the country. So, yeah.
If we're talking about cool alum, the first woman to be a U.S. Captain on board a large cruise ship is a Cal Maritime alumna.
I hope all our audience members are taking notes and jotting this down because there are some very fun, very cool facts and things to note about each one of your schools and so much more, I know, available to them to be able to explore further. So thank you to all of our panelists for being here tonight, for sharing some great information on behalf of your schools. I encourage our audience members again to continue your research, continue your exploration and your visits in whatever format you're able to safely do at this time. There's a lot more out there for you to continue learning and engaging. So a couple of quick things as we wrap up our panel here tonight. After you shut out this Zoom session, you'll get a quick survey, a couple of questions. If you can give us some feedback, it's always great to have so that we can keep delivering great virtual fairs and other types of events for you all. You always have the opportunity to sign up for more sessions. So go back to the StriveScan website, continue to see what kind of sessions and opportunities are available for you. There's another CALSOAP event series happening in May. So continue to hop on there and take a look and see if anything meets your needs for future events. And finally, if you go back to strivescan.com/CalSOAP, this recording will be available in the coming weeks. Just kind of keep your eye out there to see when it's up and posted for you to watch on demand if you want to go back and look at the session or share it with any family or friends or anything like that. So we hope that you stay well. We hope that everybody has a really smooth, positive search process and that you land at a place that's great for you and your family. And I wish you the best of luck. And thank you again to everybody for being on the call tonight. Have a great night, everyone. Take care.